Hello, everybody, and welcome back to mufcMPB here on YouTube. My name is Brooks, and today is Friday, the 26th of April. And with another day comes another batch of headlines that we're going to have to discuss. And we're just going to jump straight into it because, as you can tell by the thumbnail, as you can tell by the tweet that is on your screen here, and as you can tell by the title of this video, Miguel Gutierrez, Girona's left back, is being assessed by Manchester United. Give Me Sport report, Manchester United have agreed within the club that the addition of a new left back needs to be prioritised this summer. Girona's Miguel Gutierrez is being assessed. Now, if you haven't really been keeping up to date with football outside of the Premier League, in La Liga, earlier on in the season, there were shouts or thoughts that Girona could surprise everybody, surprise Europe, I guess do a Leicester and go and win the league. Girona they're not a new team, but they're a newly acquired team within, so they're in Manchester City's, I don't know what the correct term is, but they own, like the owners, I think they own other clubs, and Girona is just one of those clubs that are involved with Manchester City. So it's no surprise that they seem to be operating very well. They seem to be getting good results on and off the pitch. They're not currently still top of La Liga. I think they're third. They've definitely qualified for Europe, which I think it might be the first time. I'm not 100% sure, but they are looking like they will be playing Champions League football next season, which is going to be massive for them. They haven't played Champions League football before, I'm sure of that. But one of the players that has been performing and has been gathering a lot of interest is Miguel Gutierrez. 6 assists and 1 goal in the league this season. He's been one of their better players. I don't know if you would have seen much of him. I've seen a couple of times, and obviously I've seen highlights. Now, before, I'm going to say my disclaimer about highlights to all of you haters out there who say, oh no, you've only seen highlights, you don't really know how to play. Highlights show you a lot about someone's game. Obviously, highlights aren't going to put their mistakes in. They're not going to put all of that stuff. That's not the point of a highlight. The point of a highlight is to showcase the talents that they do possess, and what you'll notice about highlights, it might be different clips and they're doing the same thing, but what you have to look at is what they're doing in that clip. And what you can gather from highlights about Miguel Gutierrez is he's very, very comfortable on the ball. He's very fast, gets across the ground very quickly, and he's comfortable one-on-one. He's comfortable taking people on, and he's not afraid to get into a challenge. I've seen him go to ground quite a lot. Not, I would say, at the level of Wan-Bissaka, but he is comfortable putting in a challenge. Now, with the way, let's just assume it would be Erik ten Hag in charge next season because he is the manager right now. Luke Shaw, I would imagine, still is the first choice left back. Listen, whatever you think of Luke Shaw, whether you hate him or not, he is one of the better left backs in Europe, and it's not really a discussion that needs to be had anymore. Yeah, he doesn't play a lot, but guess what? He's injured. I know he's injury prone, but a lot of great players have been injury prone. Not to say he's great, but you can see the talent that Luke Shaw has. Miguel Gutierrez wouldn't come in and start over Luke Shaw straight away. That would be a progression, a natural progression, obviously. But they do have a lot of the same qualities. What I think people like to ignore with Luke Shaw is his comfort on the ball and his ability going forward, bringing the ball from near his own goal to well over the halfway line on a regular basis, with ease, being able to beat a man 1v1, being comfortable doing it, and then still having the awareness to keep your head up and make the right pass is something that Luke Shaw does a lot, and that's what type of a player Miguel Gutierrez is. He would be faster, he wouldn't be as strong, he wouldn't be as robust as Luke Shaw, but what you get with Gutierrez is a younger left back. He's 22 years old, someone with, I guess, a higher ceiling, and someone who already has the qualities of the type of a left back we want, but can improve and get better on those. And I think it will be an astute signing. I think it will be a good player to bring in, to have two of those type of a player, the type that Erik ten Hag clearly likes. A player comfortable enough to slot into the midfield, as Dalot does on the other side. Someone good enough with enough quality on the ball to put a cross in, to slide a ball through, to link up with the players in front, to form a good partnership. All of these qualities Gutierrez possesses. So I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for this move. Also reported by Give Me Sport, Manchester United have been looking at Girona left-back Miguel Gutierrez closely as they contemplate whether to test the Spanish side's resolve with a summer bid. Arsenal and West Ham are also interested in him. Don't let Arsenal get this player. If Arsenal get this player, they have a young right-back, Ben White. They have 2 young centre-backs, and then they have an equally young left-back. That is 5, 6, 7 years of a potentially incredible defensive line at Arsenal. We have to get this player. I don't think West Ham will end up getting him. I think if we are the only teams involved, and if this is 100% legitimate in terms of this is going to happen, then it will be a straight shootout between Arsenal and Manchester United. What we wouldn't be selling is our current state. What we'd be selling is the project. And I believe Manchester United would be able to offer a better project than Arsenal. You've got new owners in with a lot of money and a lot of want to improve and invest in the squad. Obviously, it would either be Erik ten Hag or another manager, so he'll get to know that as well, like we will. I think we have to get this player. It would mean that we wouldn't ever be in the market this summer for another left back. So I know a lot of people want Teo Hernandez. I'm one of those people who would want someone like Teo Hernandez at the club. I was always secretly hopeful, even though we've never really been linked to him. I was always secretly hopeful that we would go in for Teo Hernandez, but unfortunately, it looks like we won't be if we get this deal over the line. But I think what you have there is someone who could progress to be one of the better left backs in Europe. So I'm not too disheartened with this. I'm actually quite optimistic with this signing. But moving on to a report from Mark Ogden, Rafael Varan and Anthony Martial will leave Manchester United as free agents this summer. Now, what I will say about this is, I'm not surprised. It was always going to happen, so nobody really should be shocked about this news. I think this is more confirmation than a fresh piece of news. But I'm more upset at the fact Rafael Varane is leaving on a free, because I don't think it's been a long time coming, obviously compared to Martial. But I feel like you could get a bit of money for him. I know he's 31, and I know he's been picking up quite a few injuries since he was at Real Madrid as well, by the way. This isn't just at Manchester United. We wouldn't have been able to get the 50-something million you probably could get for someone like him, even at his age, because of how good he is. I reckon if he was on leaving on a free and we were trying to sell him, you could probably get around 30 million for him, and that's the money we're missing out on, unfortunately. I think this whole especially with Varane, it could have been handled a lot better in terms of making sure he doesn't leave on a free, especially since he did just come to Manchester United. But obviously this is out of our hands now, so it looks like it will happen. But with Anthony Martial, this has been a long time coming. The fact that he's just not been available recently in any sense of the word, I guess. He's had fallouts at Manchester United with previous managers, and it just hasn't been as plain sailing as we'd hoped when we brought him in from Monaco. What was that, 2015? 9 years ago, I think it was, for Martial, when Van Gaal brought him in. I still remember his first season. I remember his debut goal against Liverpool. Oh my days. Yeah. I wish it went well for Martial. Look, it has gone all right. He has been very good for us at times, but on the other hand, especially recently, we just haven't seen him. You'd almost forget he's a Manchester United player. That doesn't take away from the quality that we know he has and we know he possesses. It's just unfortunate that he's just been picking up these injuries. That partnership that he had with Marcus Rashford as well, it could get its own round of applause. The season under Oli, the one where Martial, I think, scored 23 all comps, Rashford scored 22 all comps. They were having a shootout for the top scorer at the club, and that's what we're going to miss. But I think even with Ten Hag, I don't think this is something that Ten Hag really wants to do. Even when Martial was fit, he plays, and he was playing under Ten Hag. Ten Hag is clearly a fan of Martial, the type of player he is, his ability to hold up play. He's strong enough to hold defenders off. He has a very, very good first touch, and his dribbling ability is top notch. It's one of the best at the club. I think you have someone there who can play on the left. We know he can play on the left to a very high level. and he can also play up front to a very high level. The consistency just wasn't there, and that's one of the biggest and most important things that any player needs to have at a top club. If you'd watch the overlap from Gary Neville, you hear Roy Keane talk about there's one thing that the top players at other clubs have and the top players at Manchester United don't have, and that's consistency. It's every single week you know what you're going to get from those players like Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland, Mohamed Salah, Ronaldo, Messi, all of these top players that have proved it. Even when they're 20 years old, they all have one thing, and it's consistency. With Martial, the potential was there for him to be one of the better players in Europe. There's a reason why, even though people laugh at it now, and I guess in hindsight, yes, even at the time, a Ballon d'Or clause was put into his contract. If he won the Ballon d'Or whilst he was here, then Monaco get, I think, some of the money. And that you don't just put... Look, Monaco letting go of one of their better players, better young players who could have potentially been one of the best players in the world, and they put that Ballon d'Or clause in. That's not a joke. That was for real. And look, whether you like Martial or not, whether you hate him or not, you could love Martial. I know a lot of people love Martial. I have a friend that loves Martial. He rides out for Martial, and I don't blame him. He's a very, very good player. He just hasn't lived up to the expectations at Manchester United. And I know he's been here a long time, 9 years, and that's probably too long for a lot of people, but there's a reason he's been here so long. It's because we know the quality he has, and I'm just upset it hasn't worked out. But I had read a couple of days ago that Inter Milan were looking to get him 125 a week, I think. If he goes to Inter Milan, they've just won the Scudetto. Inzaghi at the helm as well. That's another manager I wouldn't mind seeing at Manchester United if Ten Hag was to get sacked. But Martial at Inter Milan, I think that would work. Like, it would be perfect. It would actually be very, very perfect. So I would like to see him thrive. I want to see him do well when he leaves Manchester United. I just don't want to see him go to another Premier League club, because we all know what would happen then if he turned up at Old Trafford. But moving on to another thing which I think is getting annoying now. Also reported by Mark Ogden, Marcus Rashford's future is in doubt, but having signed a £300,000 a week 5-year contract last summer, the England forward is generating little interest. Sources have said that speculation linking Rashford with PSG is wide of the mark. Good. Manchester United should not get rid of Marcus Rashford, and I say that in like the most straightforward way possible. Marcus Rashford is one of the best players in his position. I know he's had a terrible season, but listen, ask someone, would you sell Marcus Rashford? If they say yes, ask them how much they will accept or how much they expect to get for Marcus Rashford, and then watch them say, oh, we should get probably around 80, 90. It doesn't make sense. How can you be rubbish and expect a club to pay 80, 90 million? You're either rubbish and you're worth, as a 26-year-old winger, face of Manchester United, face of the Premier League, face of English football, you're rubbish, and with all of those qualities that you have, you're only worth 40, 35 million, or you're rubbish and you're worth 90 million. It's one or the other. Manchester United can't get rid of him, because you go and get Leao, people are going to complain about exactly the same thing. You're not going to go and get someone else who can give you 30 goals a season, who can give you 40 goal contributions a season. There aren't many other wingers that you'd get for less than 150 million that can give you that. And I know he hasn't been performing this season, but we're all hypocrites. I criticize him. Oh, not even hypocritical. Criticism is fine. Footballers from the age of when they're 9, 10, if you step on a football pitch, you have to be open for criticism, because there will be people watching, there will be people saying, oh, instead of doing that, you could have done that. That's criticism. Obviously, there's a line between criticism and actually just abuse online, and Marcus Rashford is one of the most abused footballers in the world, even when I'm not going to talk about politics, but you don't get worse fans, I guess, than the Manchester United ones on Twitter, because all it is Marcus Rashford this, Marcus Rashford that. yes, you get the criticism, but then you get the idiots online who think that they're criticizing, but actually they're just abusing the man. And then when he's not playing well, probably because he's reading people being racist to him, people sending him death threats and all of this, it's obviously going to be on his mind. He's a normal functioning human being. And then when anything else happens to another team's player, it's men's mental health. You don't know what people are going through. That's what he was going through because, something happened. But then when it's your own player, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I've said Marcus Rashford's been rubbish because he might have had a rubbish match. You're allowed to say that. He's had a rubbish match. But then what it doesn't progress to is he needs to do this to himself. He's a useless piece of shit or something like that. There's a line. And yeah, so what? He blacked out his Twitter profile picture. So what? He's making himself visibly anonymous online because he's letting people know that it needs to stop. And it does need to stop. Because you'll all be the first ones to say men's mental health matters if he went and, So think about it and be careful. But I'm glad he's not leaving. I don't want him to leave. And hopefully, I'm hoping for him and I'm hoping for Manchester United that he does find his form again. Because we all know that when Marcus Rashford is in form, he genuinely is unstoppable. You can't stop him. Even though you know he's going to go past you can't stop him from doing it. Barcelona last season, top of the league, only conceded a handful of goals. Marcus Rashford done them at the Old Trafford and done them at the Camp Nou as well. That's Marcus Rashford. You guys need to just relax on him, man. It's very frustrating. And also someone that you guys need to relax on is Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes broke his right hand against Coventry but was keen to play against Sheffield United. Do I really even need to say more? He's terrible anyway. He should have rested. We would have won by even more. Stop. Just stop. Bruno Fernandes is the embodiment of a Manchester United player. Someone who is going to run through brick walls. Who is going to run through brick walls for the club, for his teammates. He's broken his hand. He could have very easily said, Gaffer, I can't play because I've got a broken hand. I don't want to make it worse. But he said, nah, bun that. I want to play. And he was probably the best player on the pitch against Sheffield United. That is my captain. And I honestly think people who think he needs to be sold need to have their brain checked. And I say that in the most respectful way possible because he goes to any other club and all you're going to have to do is watch him ball out for another team and you're going to be thinking, we had him. He was literally the captain. I promise you, Bruno Fernandes... I'm so happy that he plays for Manchester United. He's one of my favourite players. I love him as a player. I don't care what you have to say to that. This is my feelings and my opinion on the matter. But he is what Manchester United players need to look up to and try to be like in terms of his energy levels, his effort. So what if he moans? So what if he complains? You moan and you complain when you're watching, so why are you getting at him for moaning and complaining when he's experiencing the rubbish that you're watching? Think about it. It doesn't make sense the way Bruno Fernandes gets dragged. It's like he's the only player on the planet that moans. It's like he's the only player on the planet that has a hissy fit because he's experiencing the bollocks that you guys are watching on TV. The same football that you guys complain about, he's having to go through it. Of course he's going to be as angry as you. Of course, he's an emotional character, and I think that's one of his qualities. I think the things that you guys are talking about are qualities, and you're just reading into it the wrong way because you want your footballer to just move like a robot and show no emotion and just 100% pass accuracy, 100% top bins accuracy, 100% everything. It's real life. It's not FIFA. It's not FIFA. But Bruno Fernandes, hands out to you, salute to you, and he'll obviously be available for the next match as well. I think it's against Burnley, so I'm hoping to see him there. Some other players who I'm hoping to see soon back. By the way, these segues today have been absolutely amazing. Justin, Eric Ten Hag on Luke Shaw, Lisandro Martinez, and Anthony Martial. I think we will see them all in the season. They all returned onto the pitch. Next week, they have to make the step into the team training and they can be available for the last weeks. They progress well. we only have 5 games left in the Premier League, 6 games left with the FA Cup final as well. So hopefully we'll be able to see them for at least 2 or 3 of those, because Martinez and Luke Shaw especially will go straight into the first team once they are properly match fit. I don't think there's any questions about that. With Anthony Martial, I think it will be not a battle with Højlund, because there's only a few games left. I think if Martial comes back in, it would be substitute appearances for the remainder of the matches. I don't think he'll be starting any matches, but it will be nice to see him play for Manchester United again. As I said, he is one of the players that I have liked for a long time at Manchester United, and I don't want to just see him leave silently. I think he deserves better than that. I think he deserves to have a decent farewell, even though he has been treated like cow poo for a number of years. We need Luke Shaw back in the team. We literally don't have a left back, and we need Lisandro Martinez back in the team. We all know the quality that he adds to the team. And someone I think who will be interested to see what they do add to the team is Tuchel, because reported by, let me just get their first name correct, Fraser Fletcher, a football correspondent for Team Talk and BBC Scotland News, Thomas Tuchel is a serious in capitals, by the way, guys, so it's a really serious contender to become Manchester United manager. I went over Tuchel a lot in yesterday's video, so I won't just repeat the same things. But what I did kind of say in a summary is I wouldn't be too upset if he became manager of Manchester United. However, my biggest concern would be the fact that he's never really at a club for too long, and I think the best way for Manchester United to really build something here, especially the first year under a new kind of ownership model, would be to appoint someone and have them there for 5, 6, 7 years, not just come in, maybe win something and leave after 2 years and then basically start the whole thing again. I think especially this summer, you either need to stick with Ten Hag and almost give him a fresh start, or bring someone else in who especially really has a track history of remaining at clubs for a long time, because as I said yesterday, I grew up with one manager and I don't like it when managers keep going in and out. I just don't think it bodes well for success at Manchester United. But Manchester United apparently will be wearing this as an away shirt next season. I wouldn't have said this at any point, but that blue shirt from the 08-09 season that we wore in the Champions League against Arsenal when Ronaldo scored that free kick and then we scored that counter-attack goal is my favourite Manchester United kit of all time, and I really don't understand why we've never used that shade of blue again. The full kit was blue. It was the sexiest kit. It was the sexiest kit of all time, and I'm going to see if I can get the picture up of it now, because oh my god, it was literally the best. I'm going to put it on the screen. It was that kit right there, that shade of blue, absolutely amazing. And I don't know why we've never used that shade of blue, but apparently reported by Opaleak and via Footy Headlines, leaked to Manchester United 2024-25 away shirt. I think it's all right. Don't think it's the best. As I said, if it's blue, it has to be that blue from 15 years ago. But anyway, guys, if you did like this episode, make sure you leave a like and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you also follow at mufcMPB over on X, as well as myself and the other presenters. All of our links will be in the description down below. Manchester United, I think, play Burnley tomorrow. I'm going to go for a 4-1 win. 4-1 win against Burnley. Leave your predictions and let me know if you like this kit, by the way, in the comment section down below. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.